Folks, Gary here with Paramount, and normally we are your source for guns, gear, training, tactics, but today we are your source for science. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek into how my brain works. Last night I was up late editing the video for the 300 PRC, and while I was waiting that to render, I was still, in my mind, I was still thinking about how light the recoil was on that. And I was like, man, I know that's just a tremendous amount of energy, so I was looking those up. And then I ended up posting the video, going to bed. And I'm laying there in bed and I'm like, man, that's just a lot of energy. You gotta, what would that do to body armor, level 4 body armor? And then I started thinking, well, you know, 6.5 PRC is a lot of energy too. It's a smaller cross section. We got a lot more pressure on a smaller spot, or at least more pressure in a smaller area. That would probably penetrate level 4 even better than the 300 PRC, or maybe neither one does. I don't know. But today we're gonna find out. I actually have 2 level 4 plates, and we're gonna shoot each of these with 300 PRC and 6.5 PRC. Folks, I want you to look at the energies on this. So with 6.5 PRC, we're looking at 2,700 foot-pounds, that's published, which is insane. With 300 PRC, we're at 3,900 foot-pounds as published. Now, a couple things. Number one, Noah was we were talking about the 300 PRC yesterday, and he wanted to shoot that. So he's gonna shoot both of these, but I also wanna find out how close to reality those published numbers are. So we're actually gonna track both of these with the lab radar. And I'm gonna see what that thing's reading for each of these rounds at 100 yards, so we can know exactly what type of force those rounds are impacting these plates. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Noah, what do you think? You think these things are gonna penetrate?
I think 300 PRC is going to penetrate, but I don't know about 6.5 PRC.
Well, I guess we're going to find out, aren't we?
Yeah.
All right, folks, so we're going to meet you out at the range, so we'll see you out there in just a second. All right, folks, my arms aren't long enough. All right, so Noah's going to, right now we're in vlogging mode. Right now, Noah's going to explain our setup right here so you guys can see what's going on with this. All right, Noah, tell them what's up.
So we have a camera that's doing regular time, and then we have a GoPro over here doing slow-mo. Are
we gonna lose the GoPro, you think?
It's already blacked out.
No, I know, but I mean, you think we're gonna get splash off the GoPro? Splash, you think we're gonna get splash and damage the GoPro? If we do, it's for science, right?
And then we're gonna be shooting Bob, 6.5 PRC first. Then we're going to...
All right, we got Bob over here that we're gonna be shooting with 6.5 PRC. Noah's gonna be shooting him. And then we got Tom over here waiting in the wings that we're gonna be shooting 300 PRC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you think's gonna go through the body armor?
I don't know, maybe both, but most likely 300 PRC.
All right, well, there's only one way to find out. All right, folks, so Noah's gonna be shooting this one right here. We got the lab radar set up. All right, so we're gonna see what happens. 6.5 PRC, 147 grain. Don't miss and ruin this whole thing, Noah.
Okay.
No pressure. Get your heels flat. All right, pull that bolt up. What do you think, Noah?
I don't know.
Let's go check it out. It's still on there. Yeah. I was expecting Bob to get knocked plumb off. How's it look?
Holy moly.
All right. You thought we were gonna give you the results right now? You're wrong. You're wrong. This is YouTube. We gotta keep you hanging on until the end, or you can just fast forward, whatever you wanna do. But what we are gonna do is we're gonna analyze both of these at the end. We're gonna give you the results up close in the studio, as well as all of the velocity data and the energy data. So that'll be fun too. So stay tuned. Don't fast forward. We're getting ready to shoot 300 PRC. Right?
Yep.
All right. All right, Noah. We got Tom, 300 PRC. Still say it's gonna penetrate? We'll see, huh?
No.
All right, let's go shoot it. All right, we're lined up. We're armed. All right, folks. Am I in the frame? All right, so for all the marbles, this is the first time Noah's shooting 300 PRC. All right, we're losing daylight. Get your body right, get your legs wide, get those heels flat. First time shooting 300 PRC. Oh!
Knocked him over.
Nice. Hit that bolt up, throw that bolt up. Go ahead and drop that magazine. We got 2898 on the velocity. All right, let's go down here and check it out. That thing pounded it. That's what 3,900 foot-pounds of energy will do. We'll just go ahead and show what's going on here. It broke it clean in half, didn't it? Wow.
Penetrated.
Yep. We'll just go ahead and show that. Holy Jeebus. Was not expecting that. We'll do a more detailed analysis on this when we get back in there. That is phenomenal. I was not expecting that at all.
What is the other part of
I don't know. We'll find in a second. What'd you think, Noah? Oh, by the way, how was shooting the 300 PRC?
It didn't have as much recoil as I expected it to.
Was it much worse than the 6.5?
No.
If I could hold
It's
this,
the same.
pretty much the same as the 6.5?
Yeah.
And you don't have a problem shooting that 6.5 at all. I was really shocked at how easy that 300 PRC was to shoot. Well, that's some surprising results. We'll get it back inside. We'll take a look at the footage. It's gonna be pretty fun to go over, huh?
Yeah.
All right, that's called science, folks. Well, folks, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed shooting that, especially shooting that with Noah. What'd you think, Noah?
Yeah, it was fun.
What was your favorite part?
When Tom got knocked over.
that was pretty shocking to say the least. Hey folks, if you like content like this, make sure you like and subscribe. Follow us on this channel, but also go check out our social media sites. We do a lot of cool stuff on there.
Hey, YouTube sucks, so go to our Rumble channel and check us out there. We have a lot of better gun videos there.
Yep, you know, YouTube's not a friend of the First Amendment or Second Amendment, so most of our content is going to go over there, no doubt about it. Also, make sure on Wednesdays, we have our Dangerous Liberty podcast. Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We talk about guns, gear, training, politics. We have special guests on all the time. We'd love to have you. This is a community. That's what this is about. We want to build that community. You can come interact with us live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Well, folks, we got a lot to cover. So first of all, Bob and Tom were not having the best of days. Bob's still smiling. I don't think Tom's DED. He didn't make it. Folks, I was absolutely blown away by those results. I did not expect, quite frankly, I didn't expect either one of those to penetrate. I especially didn't expect the 300 PRC to destroy this plate in the stupendous way that it did. I mean, looking at the footage, the slow-mo footage, that fireball, my gosh, that was crazy. It's just hitting it with so much force. Noah and I were looking for this piece for probably a good 20 minutes. It just flew, you know, like, I don't know, probably what, 10 feet,
Yeah.
10, 15 feet off to the left of the target. So that was again, I was shocked by that. You did a good job, man. That was pretty much perfect shot placement on that guy. Got a little off on this. And you liked shooting that 300 PRC?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice gun. There's no doubt about it. But I want to go over this data because I think that is what is absolutely phenomenal. And by the way, a printout of this, a PDF version of this, is on our Patreon site. You can go there. We'd love if you support us, but really, if you want to support us, you can support us on Patreon, and we have online virtual training there. We have a bunch of different tiers, basically benefit packages that you get different things for supporting us. We try to give a great value to you in return, but also just going to ParamountTactical.com and doing all your shopping with us. The only things that we sell are items that we personally have tested and we believe in. So let's go over this data, and I want to talk about the published data versus what we actually saw from the lab radar. So the published muzzle velocity on the 6.5 PRC 147 grain is 2910 feet per second. We were actually getting 2948. And just making sure the rifle was sighted in, we got some data prior to actually shooting the steel. We were just confirming zero, making sure that we were good. We got a few extra rounds, and we were talking well into this. It was like 4 or 5 feet per second as far as like a standard deviation on that. On the Hornady ELDM 300 PRC, 225 grain. The published data is 2810 feet per second. We're getting 2898. That is a significant jump. I don't know if they have published what the test rifle barrel length was on these, but just so that you know, the 6.5 PRC was shooting out of a 26-inch barrel. The Hornady 300 PRC is shooting out of a 28-inch barrel. And folks, if you're wanting to shoot extreme long range, you want to get the most out of that, I would say somewhere between a 28, 30-inch barrel is kind of the sweet spot for that particular rounds. And that's exactly what we saw, because we're getting 2898 feet per second, which is almost a 90 foot per second increase over the published data. When it comes to the energy for the published, we were looking at 2764 foot-pounds of energy. We were getting 2836 foot-pounds, which again, that by itself is nuts. And then we go over here to the 300 PRC, published is 3945. We're getting 4195 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle, which is insane. And over here to the right, I have the Delta. That is a 1,359 foot-pound increase over the 6.5, a 67% increase. Then we go out to the 50-yard reading. We're at 2,700 foot-pounds of energy for the 6.5. We're at 4,021 for the 300 PRC. We're still at a 67% increase over that. And I was surprised at how consistent that number is. Even moving out to 1,000, and then at 100 yards, and we were basically shooting those targets at about 105 yards, we had still 2,800 feet per second on the 6.5 PRC, 2,562 foot-pounds, 2774 on the 300 PRC, and 3845 foot-pounds, still at a 66% increase. And then moving all the way out to 1,000 yards, out of the 6.5, we're at 867 foot-pounds, and we're at 1,478 foot-pounds at 1,000 yards. We're basically at 1,500 foot-pounds still at 1,000 yards. That is just insane. Another thing that I thought was pretty fascinating about this, between these two cartridges, is at 500 and 1,000 yards, these two cartridges were only about 1/10 of a mil difference in elevation. So pretty consistent across that. And then of course, once you get out to 1,200 yards, the 300 PRC is retaining that muzzle velocity, it's retaining the energy, and we're actually seeing less drop out of the 300 PRC at 1,200 yards and further. So I just thought that was pretty fascinating. But it's crazy when you start comparing these rounds, because 6.5 PRC is a Magnum round, but when you see the difference in energy between these two, you know, that 6.5 suddenly doesn't seem such a monster round. And it is, right? But in comparison to that 300 PRC at 225 grains, moving, you know, starting off at almost 3,000 feet per second, man, it's just a ton of mass moving through the air. And as we saw, the impacts of that are just crazy. And look at that thing. It's just a crazy round, isn't it?
Almost as big as my head.
Almost as big as your head. All right, folks, so let's take a look at this body armor. So, and just to be clear, folks, this is older armor. This was NIJ certified as level 4. It's probably 10 years old, but you know, this is some old armor that I had. We'll call it military or government surplus armor. That's what we'll say. But you guys can just see this, and I'll post a picture of this so you can take a look at it as well and just kind of see what happens. But we definitely had penetration. There's actually a gap, even when you line up the jigsaw puzzle here. There's definitely a gap, and you can actually see the entrance to the rubber dummy, even in the video, you can see that. But man, it just demolished this. All right, folks, here's just an up close of the 6.5 PRC. I mean, there may be a millimeter and a half of an indentation there. You guys can kind of see that. We'll take a look at the back. There's just barely, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's just barely a protrusion right there. It's a little bit of paint loss right there, but you can feel it, but nothing major. And right here we have the 300 PRC plate. Folks, it's just destroyed. I mean, we have a huge, it's just so deformed right here. And obviously there's clearly a hole completely cracked across there. Let me take a look at the back. All right, and then from the back, you can definitely see just how deformed it actually is. But Clearly missed material, clearly had some of that actual projectile penetrate through right there. And pretty fascinating stuff. That was crazy to see. Wasn't expecting that at all. And there again, that fireball kind of says it all. Yeah, once you get that together, you can see where it penetrated in there, and there's just metal missing from it altogether. But that was absolutely a crazy thing. And we'll start doing more stuff like this. I really like getting into the data, doing these comparisons. So now that we have that lab radar up and running, you know, it just makes it easy, and we'll do a lot more stuff like this. And folks, I'm getting ready to do, if you have a lab radar, one of the best things that you can do to upgrade that is get that quad pod. That makes setting that thing up and shooting it and using it, especially with multiple rifles, just so much easier. But there's also some little tweaks that I would suggest doing that, but I'll do a whole video on that. Well, what else, Noah?
I don't think there is anything else.
Nope, I think that pretty much covers it. I think Bob and Tom had a bad day, but we'll be seeing them again in future videos. There's no doubt about that. Listen, folks, we really appreciate you watching. You're the reason that we do this. Everything that you do to support us through our website, through Patreon, that's what goes into this, and we always want to try to give back to you. So we appreciate you watching. And, you know, while Guns and Gear is great, what we're really about is training. So make sure you go to ParamountTactical.com. Go check out our upcoming training schedule. We'd love to have you out. We'd love to meet you in person. We have long-range courses coming up, tactical carbine, handgun, medical courses. Again, come out here, meet us. You can meet Noah in person. He'll give you his autograph, shake your hand, give you a high five. But until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you soon.